In 1971, astronaut Alan Shepard hit the first birdie on the moon. Not literally, of course, because there's no actual birds up there. But that's not what Charles Morton thought. In 1703, he published a pamphlet claiming that the reason some birds disappeared during winter was because they were vacationing on the moon. It really puts the loon in lunar. Throughout history, people were at a loss as to why some birds appeared out of nowhere in the spring, only to disappear again during winter. And when it came to explaining why, well, their common sense flew south. Aristotle figured that certain birds didn't leave at all, they just changed from one type to another. And a medieval scholar said that geese began life as barnacles, while another claimed they blossomed from trees every spring. The poet Homer accepted the fact that cranes embarked on great journeys, but instead of seeking warmer weather, it was to battle tribes of mythical goat-riding dwarves at the ends of the earth. Not making this up. Fittingly, the answer to this avian enigma was delivered by a stork. Storks were, and still are, a common sight in Europe during summer, except most don't have spears hanging out of their necks. After this unlucky bird was shot in Germany, for a second time, mind you, the origin of the spear was traced to sub-Saharan Africa, proving once and for all that birds spent their winters in warmer climates, and not the moon. Now, birds don't use calendars, as far as we know anyway, so how do they know when to take off? By tallying observations about their environment, like changes in daylight, average temperatures, and the amount of food that there is to eat. A biological switch is triggered that tells the bird it's time to pack its feathery bags. These days, scientists use technology ranging from leg bands to GPS to map birds' incredible journeys. The Arctic tern takes the longest trip of any bird. It covers as much as 50,000 miles in a single year between its Arctic and Antarctic nesting grounds. Bar-headed geese have to cross over the Himalayas on their annual journey. It's the highest migration of any bird. And to survive at those extreme altitudes, they've evolved specialized hemoglobin. And like other birds, they have a special one-way respiratory system that keeps fresh air running through their lungs all the time. The great snipe is a migrating speedster, covering more than 4,000 miles. It speeds up to 60 miles per hour. While the bar-tailed godwit completes its 7,000-mile, 8-day journey across the Pacific without stopping once. It powers its trek by packing on more than half its body mass in fat. One of the most amazing bird migrations is undertaken by one of the smallest, the ruby-throated hummingbird. Before these petite pilots embark across the Gulf of Mexico, they too add more than half their penny-sized body weight in fat. And during that 600-mile trip, they burn off a quarter of their body mass in just 20 hours. I guess it's hard to keep weight on when you have to flap your wings 50 times a second. The flying V might be hockey's greatest formation, but it's also a trick to fly more efficiently. When a bird flaps its wings, it creates a rotating vortex off the wingtip. And if the bird behind it is in the right place, it can get a free boost from that updraft. What's crazy is that birds can somehow sense where that vortex is, and they actively flap their wings to stay in the sweet spot. Birds are able to navigate the globe with amazing accuracy, some returning to the same nesting spot year after year. Pigeons that are taken far from home, sealed in isolation chambers, completely cut off from light, outside air, and magnetic fields, were still able to find their way back home. It's easy to see how birds might draw a map, but what about a compass? Some birds have been found to use the sun, and others the stars, but for many birds, they are the compass. Tiny iron-rich crystals were discovered in the eyes and beaks of many birds, and scientists now suspect that sense or even see Earth's magnetic field. We may have had some bird-brained ideas about where birds disappear to, but thanks to science, we know the truth is as good as any myth. Maybe better. Stay curious. The California golden bear, the great auk, the passenger pigeon, the Tasmanian tiger, the Pinta Island tortoise, the golden toad, all dead, and the killer is right there in the room with you.